Years ago, people started enjoying beer. This is the story of a craft brewery. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Welcome. Hey guys, Liam from Salt Steel, hope you're well. Welcome to another episode of Salt Steel TV. In this episode, just touch a little bit more on the history of Salt Steel. Where did we come from? Where do we want to go? Where did we come from, the Cotton Eye Joe? We've been overwhelmed with the responses that we've had so far. Really appreciate all the kind comments, the likes, the shares, the follows, the interactions that we've had with you on many different levels. It really means a lot, and we're really glad that you are along for the journey with us as we build this brewery from nothing. I want to involve you as much as we can in this process, whether it's recipe development, whether it's coming up with new ideas. This is our brewery, it's your brewery, and we want to make sure that you are as involved as possible. So I've been drinking craft beer for the best part of 10 years now. I started my beer journey, as most people do, drinking macro mass-produced lagers that you get everywhere. It wasn't until my brother-in-law introduced me to a pint of Punk IPA and said, "Get that down you." Taken aback, I thought, wow, what is this? Now, initially it wasn't a good wow. I was at first, I think my palate wasn't really adapted to how bitter it was and all these new flavours. I wasn't really sure that I liked it. I drank it and I thought, okay, what's this? And gave it a good go. And taken a few more beers for me to kind of get to grips with that and to understand all these new flavours and what I was experiencing. I tried a lot of their different beers and ventured onto some of the other sessionable IPAs before starting to build up my confidence maybe, and my palate developed even more. I think the more you drink with craft beer, the more different flavours you have, the new hops that you try, the different strengths, the bitterness, and the mouthfeel. It allows you to then sort of build that kind of taste for it and to want to try new things, want to try perhaps higher ABV beers, branch out to some of the different subgenres, I guess, of craft beer, whether that be Imperial Stouts, New England IPAs, or American Pale Ales, whatever it might be. I think for a lot of people, and well, for me personally, it was a kind of a building up of that. And one of the next beers I went on to, one of the ones that was one of the big influences, I guess, for Punk IPA, Sierra Nevada IPA. Both those breweries have had such an influence on craft beer here in the UK. From there, it's been an amazing journey, trying loads of different beers from loads of different breweries. In particular, I've been really getting into Northern Monk, North Brew Company, Full Circle Brewery, Wylam Brewery, and that's been really good fun. And for me, that's been an ongoing journey, but one that I've just loved. And I love craft beer. I love trying different beers, or think, oh, this has come from left field, I want to try this one, or thinking, you know what, I've had a load of IPA recently, I'm going to start drinking some stouts or porters and mix it up a little bit. And that's been really good fun. From experimenting at home with home brew kits to doing brew days with other breweries, and that gave me the idea to start the brewery. I'm really excited to be developing a new product, a new beer. Again, I want it to have that community feel, I want you to be involved. So that's been really exciting to get some of your comments and things so far, whether that's been the canning that we've been discussing, some of the recipes we posted in the last video. Check that out if you haven't. So our mission here at Salt Steel is to grow the craft beer culture, whether that's here in Teesside, supporting the existing beer scene that we have here in the pubs and bars, and introducing people to craft beer, helping people make that switch to try something they haven't before, try something maybe a bit wacky, a bit wonderful, full of flavour, and see what craft beer is all about. The name Salt Steel Brewing Company is a nod to my background. I'm originally from a town called Northwich in the northwest. It's in between sort of Chester and Manchester. It's a big salt town. It's a big straight road to Chester where the Romans used to channel loads of salt and do what you do with salt, preserve stuff. Northwich is an industrial town. There's lots of like petrochemical plants, and there's old ICI Brunamon sites, something it shares with Middlesbrough where I live now. So both have ICI sites. My late grandfather worked for ICI many years ago, and he would make the trip from Northwich up to Teesside, a journey I would follow years later. I now live up here in Teesside. Middlesbrough is synonymous with the steel industry. The landscape is littered with cooling towers, big transporter bridge. It's very industrial as well. So the two towns have a real link. The salt mines of Northwich and the steel mills of Teesside, and together I wanted to kind of have a nod to that and create Salt Steel Brewing Company. Where are we now? We're obviously a really new brewery or a new business. At the moment we've been brewing on a really small scale just to try and experiment with recipes really, and as we've discussed in previous videos, that's going to be a relatively sessionable 5% West Coast IPA. Brewed predominantly with Magnum initially, and then Simcoe, Chinook, Citra and Nelson Sauvin. Once that recipe's nailed on and we're really happy with it, we're going to be brewing that on a much bigger scale, canning that in 440ml cans and selling it on our website saltsteelbrewing.com. And from that, again, we want this to be your brewery as much as it is ours. If you've got an idea for a beer that you think we should do next, whether that be a porter, a stout, a New England IPA, or a Goes or a lager, maybe a Pilsner. Let us know in the comments, what hops do you like, what are your favourite beers, and what kind of styles would you like to see us try next. When this whole lockdown has eased a little and we can do more in the brewery in terms of having a filming crew in there, we'll do some brew days together. You know, we'll have the cameras in there showing you what we do and how we do it, and really get you involved. At the moment, we are the way we brew, it's often deemed as cuckoo brewing. We brew in different sites. So when breweries, they might be brewing for a couple of weeks, then they might have a space where they're not using their facilities. We speak to them and say, can we use your kit, and we can brew on then a bigger scale and take the beer away then and store it. And that's how a lot of breweries start, really, because it's really expensive to start a brewery. Having a massive space with loads of kit initially, it's just not possible. But what this allows us to do is to build our product set and the beers that we have available, to allow us then to start to grow, and then we can launch into a bigger space of our own and grow from there. So at the moment we're really, really small. We are the microest of microbreweries. This is a really good time to be getting involved and to be joining in and building this community. So please do leave us a comment, give us some feedback, some suggestions, some beer ideas. And then as we grow, we'll obviously get as many of you as involved as possible from there. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you want to see next from Salt Steel. Thanks for watching another episode of Salt Steel TV. If you could hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, tag anyone you think would love these videos and want to grow the community, and we'll let you know when the next video is up, and speak to you soon. Take care.